Welcome to Rini'S tutorial. Let us start with a new chapter, that is life processes. So it is one of the important chapter. So how we can define life? Life is a distinctive characteristic of living organism from dead organism or non-living thing. So we can differentiate the living organism from the non-living thing through life. So what are the characteristic features of living organisms? Movement, growth, nutrition, respiration, excretion, transportation and reproduction. These are the characteristic features of living organism. In this picture, we see a man shouting loudly and a dog running. So we know that these are living beings. If the dog and a man asleep, we would still think that they are alive. How did we know that? So we see them breathing and they are alive. So through breathing, we can see the movement. So what type of movement? So what do you mean by movement? Movement means change in position. There are different types of movements are there. They are visible movement and invisible movement. So first we will discuss about the visible movement. Visible movement means the changes in position of body parts which can be detected by human eyes. So we can detect the movement through our naked eyes, that we call it as the visible movement. Plants do not show locomotion, they are fixed. So the plants are fixed on one place and they show slow response to stimuli because the plants are responding to light, the plants are responding to water, the plants are responding to the gravity, etc. So through this response, we can see the movement or locomotion in plants. And also the rapid visible movement seen in Mimosa pudica, that is touch me not. We will commonly called as the touch me not. If you are touching that particular plant, it will fold very quickly. It is also a movement, visible movement. Next is invisible movement. That means changes in position which cannot be observed by human senses because they occur at the molecular level. So it cannot be detected. This type of movement we cannot be detected through our human senses. While touching or while watching, we cannot detect this type of movement. For example, the entry of nutrients into the cell or release of waste from them. That means the cells will absorb the smallest substance or the simple substance. The cells have the ability to absorb the substance. While absorbing the substance, inside the cell, different variety types of molecular or the chemical reactions are taking place. After that chemical reactions, the byproducts are formed. That byproducts they will throw out to outside. So this movement taking up the nutrients and given out the excretory matter, this movement cannot be visible through our naked eyes. So that we call it as the invisible movement. And the second example is virus. Viruses are made up of the molecules. So viruses are active when it comes inside the host cell. So it will be inactive outside the host cell and it will be active only it will come inside the host cell. So inside the host cell the viruses are active. That movement are also cannot be visible through our naked eyes. So it is also a type of invisible movement. So next we are coming to the main point, that is life process. The process which maintain body functions and necessary for survival are called as a life process. So there are different life processes here. Examples, they are digestion, respiration, excretion and transportation. So these are the main life process to maintain the life of an organism. So through this process, the life of an organism are maintained. That process we call it as the life process. And one of the life process, that is nutrition. What do you mean by nutrition? A process to transfer a source of energy from outside the body of the organism, which we call food, to the inside, a process we commonly called as the nutrition. So through nutrition, we are taking up the food from outside. And what will happen to this food? What will happen? We are taking the food from outside and we are taking up the food from outside. Why we are taking the food? Because we are getting the energy through the food. So the life process requires what? Energy. So energy is very important for life process. For life process we require energy. So energy is extracted from the food what we eat. So energy is coming from outside the body of the individual organism. So through food we are getting the energy. So food is a complex substance. These complex substances are converted to simple substance. Then only the cells can absorb the simple substance. So the complex substances are converted to simple substance. This process we call it as the digestion. So digestion is important for breaking down food into nutrients which the body uses for energy, growth and cell repair. So the food items have to be converted or break down to simple substance. Then only the body can use it as energy and it helps for growth and also the cell repair. So food and drink must be changed to smaller molecules of nutrients. So the life on earth depend on the carbon based molecules. That means we are taking food. So the food will contain the carbon molecules are present in the food items. For example, carbohydrate we are taking. This carbohydrate, it is a complex substance. These complex substances are converted to simple substance. So for example, it is glucose, simple substance that is glucose. So it is different in multicellular organism and also in the unicellular organism. In unicellular organism, the single cells are present in the unicellular organism. So the cells are directly contact with the environment. So cells are directly contact, they can take up the food from outside and inside the cell the chemical reaction will be taking place and they are giving out the excrete or the byproduct to outside. This is about the unicellular. And what about multicellular? The many cells are present in the multicellular organism including man. So in multicellular organisms, the cells are not directly contact with the environment. So what happens here? So we required special type of tissues for the specialized functions. So depending upon the complexity of these carbon sources, the different organisms can then use different kind of nutritional process. In unicellular organism, the complex substance are converted to simple substance in a single cell, but in multicellular organisms we require the digestive system. Next is respiration. What do you mean by respiration? It is the biochemical process that occurs within the cell of organism. In this process, the energy is produced by the breaking down of glucose, which is further used by the cells to perform various functions. What does it mean? So through digestion we have studied the complex substance are converted to simple substance. What are the complex substance here? Carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is converted to a simple substance that we call it as the glucose. So the glucose is a simple substance. This glucose is absorbed by the cells. So cells absorb the glucose. So the cells contain glucose. And what happens here? The glucose, from this glucose we have to get the energy for the functions of the cell. So the glucose have to be break down with the help of oxygen. So that process we call it as the respiration. So the glucose breakdown of glucose by the cell for the various function, that process we call it as the respiration. And the next one is excretion. That means the cells have to perform different chemical reaction. And after, what happens here? The complex substance converted to simple substance. For example, that is glucose. The glucose are absorbed by the cell, and with the help of oxygen, we are liberating energy from glucose. With the help of energy, what is energy? ATP. With the help of ATP, the cells are performing chemical reaction. So what happens here? After chemical reactions, the byproducts are formed inside the cell. These byproducts are very harmful to our body. So these byproduct the cells throw out to the outside. That process we call it as the excretion. So the waste byproducts are therefore needed to be removed from the body and discarded outside by a process that we call it as the excretion. Next is what? Transportation. Transportation means in digestive system the complex substance are converted to simple substance, that is glucose. And from digestive system, this glucose have to transport to different parts of our body for getting the energy. So through circulatory system, the glucose is transferred to different parts of the body, and also the glucose have to break down. They required what? Oxygen. So oxygen also have to be transported to different parts of the body. So through transportation, the useful materials and also harmful materials are transported. So in animals, the circulatory system, it is present in animals, but in plants, the vascular system is present in plants. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe my channel.